Hi guys, my name is Karen. So we are supposed to talk about culture and then our own culture as well. So I looked up the definition of culture, which I thought was kind of a good starting point for all of this, and it says the customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of racial, religious, and social groups. So some other characteristic features are just everyday existence and a way of life shared with people and in a certain place or time, so like pop culture or Southern culture, things like that, which I thought was really interesting. And so based off of that, I decided to talk about American culture and how it's influenced me and my family and things like that. So then I also looked up American culture just because, to me, I see it all the time, I guess, just throughout the day, and you don't really think about it that this is American culture, or you just think that this is my way of life. And so one interesting thing that I found was that it said the United States is sometimes described as a melting pot in which different flavors, or different cultures, have contributed to their own distinct flavors to the American culture, which I thought was really interesting because it all developed from people from Europe coming in, and the Native Americans who were here, and the Latin Americans and things like that who came in, and they influenced this new culture, which is now considered an American culture, which I thought was really interesting. So one thing that I think American culture really embraces is baseball. So my first item that I decided on was a Cubs hat. My family and I, we love baseball. We've had really big events that go around it. My brother plays. I played in high school. I have two younger siblings that play. And so just based off of the big phenomenon around it and how not just Illinois, but America embraces this sport, I think has influenced my family to play, and then we just kept going with it, which I think was really interesting. And yeah, another one would be that as the United States is growing and things like that, we value education a lot because of being the top and the best, and different expectations of how we should be brought to the table, I guess. And so I decided on Illinois State University folder. I think it's really important that people have education in their lives. It influences them to get better jobs, and I think it's just nice to be well educated on different things in society and a way of a profession and things like that, which I think helps. But I know that American culture, especially nowadays, you need to have an education to get anywhere in life. If you want to be taken seriously and have a job, which I think is interesting because it never used to be like that, and it definitely has grown over time as the more importance of a culture is having an education and branching off of that and having experience in that field and things like that. And so with myself, having an education was really important to me and my family. My mom has always, both my parents, have always influenced me and pushed me to be my best and to try my best and to go to college and get a degree in something. And I would be the second person in my family to graduate, which I think is really important as well, because when my parents went through, my grandparents, it was not such as a big deal as it is now, and our culture has definitely influenced it more to become a big deal. The next object I chose was an iPad. I chose this because American culture is definitely technology driven. You constantly see ads and things like that of the new best iPhone or the new best iPad, the best computer, things like that. It's constantly growing, and it's a fast-paced area where people just are constantly buying the newest technology, and which I think is interesting because you see it now, especially in the classrooms, how technology has definitely influenced our culture as we grow older. The new generation is coming up. So yeah. And then another one I chose was Charlotte Russe bag. This is more so for fashion and just the constant need for the newest thing. You constantly see over social media just fashion and how everyone is influenced by it. What's the next best thing? What's the thing to wear? The trends, the seasons of which something has to be worn, and all of that, which I think is really interesting when you're going through and looking at it. So American culture has definitely brought that in and just has made a big deal out of it. And even as my family and going through this, I realized that we do try to keep up with it, which is surprising because I wouldn't think that it would be not a big deal, but I mean, you see it everywhere where it's this new outfit, or oh, this person is wearing this, I have to get that, or the trends that just go around, especially for women in America. I mean, I feel like it's all the time you see something new popping up on the TV or out at the store, or something like that, where it's like, look at this, and this is a trend now. So I always think it's interesting, and I know my family, as bad as it is, we keep up with it, or at least try to, because we're influenced by that, because our culture is saying this is what we need to do to be looking good, or things like that, which I thought was interesting as I went through this. Another item I chose was my family. You can see them. Yeah. So I have a split family, which I am really thankful for. I have an awesome stepmom and a stepdad with my mom and dad, and then I have 4 step siblings, along with 2 actual siblings. And I love it. It's so much fun. But you definitely see that in culture now, and I know we talk about it all the time at my work, is that a lot of people the divorce rate is really high, and parents are with other people but have a child from someone else, and it's definitely like the norm here in America, which I think is surprising because you wouldn't think that it would be. Excuse me. But it is. The divorce rate, I think, is like over 50% or something like that, and it's surprising. And even though it did happen to my family, I absolutely adore it. I love my siblings so much, whether they are biological or through marriage. I absolutely love them. They're awesome. And I mean, besides just having that divorce rate and the expectation that it's there through American culture, I don't think they never express like the good side of it, which I think everyone should realize how awesome it is to have a split family. And even though having just one family is an amazing opportunity as well, but a split family, I mean, it's even more fun. And then my last item I decided on was this little devotion book. I am Lutheran, so that's like a branch off of Christianity and Catholic and all of that. So, I mean, American culture, even beginning and the start of it was Catholicism and things like that. And when the Europeans first came over, that's what it was, and then everything branched off of that. So I think it's really influenced me and had the expectation of having a religion, and my parents influenced it a lot as well, which I think is awesome. We're constantly doing things that revolve around that, and I think culture plays a lot into that because there was that expectation early on in America, and it's just influenced not only me but other people as well. There's so many different religions out in the society, which I think is awesome because it's so cool to see all the different things that people can bring to the table when it involves that. But so those were my 6 items that I chose for American culture and then how they've influenced me, and I hope it was cool. Thanks. Bye.